showing her saying, I'm breastfeeding, come on over. She's completely flirtatious with him. He is flirtatious back, but they're talking about their spouses, and it's all in good.
Blake Lively's name is back in the spotlight, and not for the reasons she'd hoped. Recent revelations suggest that behind the cameras, things between her and Justin Baldoni may have been far more complicated than anyone imagined. What started as a simple co-star dynamic has now unraveled into something tangled, emotional, and impossible to ignore.
She clearly cooperated with the New York Times to...
Even while publicly embracing her image as a devoted wife and mother of 4, whispers began circulating that Blake's connection with Baldoni had crossed into questionable territory. And just as curiosity started building, something strange happened. An unexpected lawsuit surfaced, conveniently shifting everyone's attention away from the growing rumors.
So that she could then leak it to the Times, so she could start to rehabilitate her reputation, which got smeared because she turned out to be not a very nice...
It's starting to look like someone's working overtime to play the innocent card. The irony is painful. Blake and Justin were supposed to be Hollywood's next golden duo. The creative force behind it ends with us. Instead, their project has dissolved into chaos, a headline-fueled battleground of mistrust, shattered reputations, and competing narratives that refuse to die down.
Sued Lively and Reynolds for $400 million.
What began as an exciting partnership has now escalated into a staggering $400 million courtroom spectacle. Insiders insist this isn't just business, it's deeply personal. Rumors suggest Blake developed feelings for Justin, faced rejection, and when that professional chemistry soured, things turned toxic. The result? A promising film buried under tension, resentment, and one of Hollywood's most explosive behind-the-scenes disputes.
Made herself into the new Amber Heard, and he is the new Johnny Depp. That's what's caught people's attention.
At this point, it's no longer just a lawsuit, it's a full-fledged Hollywood saga. With millions on the line, the case has become a swirl of power moves, manipulation, and whispers of a secret romance gone disastrously wrong. What once looked like a creative collaboration now feels like a slow-motion implosion, leaving chaos and scandal scattered in every direction.
And she is less well-known than she is, and so on. And then Brian Friedman and his lawyer in his legal complaint against the Times shows you the whole text exchange, which the Times had, we presume, in which they use a sarcasm emoji, and the woman saying, I did it, explicitly says, except I didn't do it.
Blake's accusations of emotional harassment against Baldoni sent shockwaves through the industry. But as new evidence, including messages, video clips, and crew statements, begins to surface, her story is starting to unravel. The question everyone's asking now is simple. Was she really the victim she claimed to be, or was this all a carefully crafted diversion to hide something far more complicated beneath the surface?
And this led Justin to eventually speak out, saying, this is all BS, that I didn't harass her in any way, shape, or form. She tried to steal my movie from her. I bent over backward to accommodate her. Her alleged claims of sexual harassment are complete BS. Here's what really happened. Released their actual texts, putting things like, he watched me breastfeed naked in my trailer in context when we saw text from her saying, I'm breastfeeding in my trailer, come on over.
Baldoni isn't holding back anymore. His legal response is fierce, and insiders from the set are stepping forward with their own accounts. Many describe a noticeable shift in Blake's behavior, saying she grew increasingly attached and emotionally entangled with her co-star. What was supposed to be acting began to feel uncomfortably real, with crew members whispering that the on-screen spark might have spilled off set.
He was not some evil harasser. He was subjugated to her, and Ryan Reynolds, and clearly afraid of both of them. This guy's been to a few too many how to be a feminist classes.
Things have only escalated with the release of newly leaked behind-the-scenes footage that's completely flipped the narrative. This clip, circulating quietly among insiders, doesn't just contradict Blake's version of events, it forces everyone to re-examine what truly happened between her and Justin Baldoni during filming.
They're acting like lovers.
And my nose is so big.
Yes, I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then,
The footage, captured during what was meant to be a simple lip-sync dance sequence, tells a very different story. Instead of discomfort or distance, Blake appears openly playful, laughing, holding eye contact, and leaning in with warmth. For someone who later claimed distress during those moments, the visuals paint a conflicting picture that's hard to explain away.
She laughs and says, oh, did you get beard on me? She doesn't say, oh my God, you nuzzled me and said that I smell good. This is what she's done throughout.
Filmed in March 2023 on a closed set with only essential crew, the scene wasn't written to be romantic, yet Blake's behavior suggested something else entirely. She smiled, engaged, and appeared genuinely drawn to Baldoni. Multiple crew members have since confirmed that her actions went beyond performance, describing a real emotional connection forming on set. Meanwhile, the legal storm continues to grow. Baldoni's team, represented by Brian Freeman, has filed a second lawsuit targeting Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and their PR representatives alleging calculated media manipulation designed to control public perception. Insiders who've seen the unedited footage claim it completely undermines Blake's accusations, portraying her instead as the one blurring the line between fiction and reality. According to one production source, Blake wasn't just acting, she was emotionally invested. Between takes, she laughed, maintained deep eye contact, and carried herself like someone genuinely captivated by her co-star. And now, with multiple lawsuits, leaked footage, and conflicting accounts piling up, the story once marketed as a romantic adaptation has transformed into one of Hollywood's most intense and unpredictable real-life dramas. The chemistry between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni was undeniable. During rehearsals, their connection went far beyond what the script required. Blake reportedly lingered between takes, touched Justin more often than necessary, and smiled every time their eyes met, a level of closeness that blurred professional boundaries. Crew members began whispering that she wanted total creative control, demanding to see every daily, even insisting on cutting her own version of the film, behavior far outside the norm for a lead actress. Some insiders believe she wasn't just acting anymore, she was trying to shape the entire story, both on and off the screen. The irony: the scene that started all of this wasn't romantic at all. It had no scripted intimacy or emotional direction. It was meant to be a simple visual sequence later paired with voiceovers, nothing more. Yet Blake performed it like she was living out her own love scene, lost in a fantasy that didn't exist in the script. Then came the shocking twist, her accusations that Baldoni's producing partner had shown her something inappropriate. But when the evidence surfaced, it turned out to be a completely harmless, artistic photograph of the producer and his wife with their newborn baby after a water birth. The so-called pornographic image was nothing of the sort, leaving many wondering whether Blake had exaggerated the moment to fuel a larger narrative. That's when fans began re-evaluating everything. If Blake seemed so relaxed and happy in that footage, maybe her feelings for Baldoni weren't just gossip after all, maybe they were genuine. Insiders claim the tension began only after Justin didn't return her affection. The once light-hearted set quickly grew cold. Crew members said the playful energy vanished, replaced by distance and discomfort, but not the kind Blake described. What's more, the leaked behind-the-scenes video completely flipped her allegations. Instead of discomfort, the footage showed her laughing, leaning in, and maintaining deep eye contact. There was no visible fear or hesitation, just ease, warmth, and flirtation. One moment in particular sent the internet into overdrive: Blake locking eyes with Baldoni, biting her lip, and smiling softly. For many, that was the image that shattered her entire claim. Even more damaging, parts of her lawsuit that initially seemed scandalous began falling apart under scrutiny. Reports described Blake being shown explicit content, but every verified image turned out to be innocent, nothing remotely inappropriate. And the allegations about crew behavior during filming? Also contradicted by on-set witnesses. Fans and insiders are now drawing parallels to Blake's history of developing real-life chemistry with co-stars, from Penn Badgley and Ryan Reynolds to Ben Affleck, where on-screen sparks often turned into genuine relationships. So why would this time be any different? That's exactly why Justin Baldoni has decided to break his silence. According to close sources, he's finally ready to expose the truth. Blake Lively wasn't just acting. She had become emotionally fixated on him, crossing boundaries in ways he couldn't ignore. Justin and his team even brought in intimacy coordinators, including Lauren Shaw, to ensure every emotional and physical moment on set was handled with care. Yet despite all precautions, what unfolded behind the scenes has now spiraled into one of the most shocking and tangled Hollywood controversies in years. Insiders close to the production claimed that Blake Lively's feelings for Justin Baldoni went far beyond simple on-screen chemistry. Sources suggest that her attraction developed during filming, and it didn't fade once the cameras stopped rolling. Reports from early 2023 described her lingering on set, finding reasons to be near him even when they weren't scheduled to shoot together, and striking up casual conversations just to extend their time in the same space. What raised eyebrows most wasn't just her behavior, but the lack of proper intimacy coordination, leaving many questioning whether professional lines had started to blur under the pressure of real emotions. Even Baldoni himself later admitted that, at times, he stepped back and let the female cast and crew navigate certain scenes without him, a choice that, while well-intentioned, may have left room for personal boundaries to become unclear. With every new leak, the situation grew more chaotic. What was once billed as a dream collaboration, a heartfelt adaptation of It Ends With Us, has turned into one of Hollywood's most volatile legal showdowns. Fans who once anticipated a powerful story about healing and empowerment are now watching a public feud overshadow the film entirely. The focus has shifted from Lily Bloom's emotional journey to a real-life clash between its two stars. And now, there's the matter of reputation. Blake's initial claims against Baldoni caused serious damage, amplified by a New York Times feature and a leaked complaint that sent shockwaves through the industry. Yet, after the backlash, she's reportedly pushing for a gag order, an attempt, some say, to silence the narrative she herself ignited. The fallout has been massive. Colleen Hoover's loyal readers, once the backbone of the film's support, are now split down the middle. On TikTok and X, fans debate whether the project should even be released. For many, the scandal has permanently clouded the film's message, turning a story meant to unite audiences into one that's driving them apart. The big question now is how this chaos will end. Industry insiders see three possible outcomes, and none are particularly hopeful. The first is a private settlement, where everything gets buried under strict non-disclosure agreements. Hollywood has cleaned up plenty of scandals this way, and if Sony wants to protect its investment, that may be the quietest path forward. Such a deal would save both Blake and Justin from a public trial, but it wouldn't erase the stain of speculation. Even if the lawsuits disappear, the whispers won't. The second option is far riskier, a public courtroom battle. If neither side backs down, the case could explode into one of Hollywood's most watched trials, with text messages, recordings, and private testimonies dissected in real time. That scenario could either clear names or destroy careers.